Looking for the perfect way to kick off your weekend?
Be consistent. Mi kila siku asubuhi naamka na post. Hiyo consistency ndo inaniletea jobs.
Tune in to Friday with Betty, the most exciting show on TV. Friday with Betty is your go-to show for a fabulous Friday night.
One thing I'll tell people is that I am not Jesus. I represent Jesus.
Tune in this and every Friday at 9 p.m. and let's make your Fridays unforgettable. Only on TV47.
And a very good evening to you. This is TV47. My name is Shiksha Arora. Happy New Year's to you, our valuable viewer. We really appreciate you. And of course, we hope that you have been keeping well tonight. I will be sitting in for the amazing Betty Callow. But don't you worry, because we've got an amazing lineup of stories lined up all through until 10 p.m. So let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. You can always find us on social media at TV47 Kenya. That's on Facebook, on Instagram, as well as on YouTube. If you're watching us live, do let us know how you celebrated your new year. But for now, first things first, let's take a look at tonight's top stories in our highlights. Tonight on This Friday with Shiksha. A deadly crash between a truck and matatu in Soy claims 10 lives.
Hii kanda ili lose control na ikaenda upande ya oncoming vehicles, ikakutana na hiyo matatu, ikagonga matatu.
The truck driver is still at large as investigators seek answers. Also, as public consultations near their end, Kenya faces a pivotal moment. Is GMO maize the solution to food security or a step too far? And what should have been a solemn funeral turns into a battleground as Natembeya and Ishungwa clash over abductions.
It's not for these hallowed grounds. Our children are getting lost and being abducted. That's the position. You were regional commissioner the other day when hundreds of people were kidnapped, abducted and killed in Kerio Valley.
With the president holding his ground. And Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kagwe slams the rise of Maina Njenga, calling it a political ploy in a battle against Gachagua. Welcome back. I am Shiksha Arora. Of course, you're watching TV47, and our very able sign language interpreter tonight is Roda Nyamai. Now, our top story: at the funeral of National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula's late mother in Mukwea Village, Kabuchai constituency, Bungoma County, President William Ruto vowed that extrajudicial killings and abductions would have no place during his leadership. However, it was the fiery exchanges between Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya and Kikuyu MP, as well as Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah, that truly stole the spotlight. Our reporter Wanji Sostin has the full story.
The funeral of Anne Nanyama Wetangula, the mother of the National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula, and the Westlands MP Tim Wanyonyi turned into an arena for heated political exchanges. President Ruto wasted no time addressing those spreading rumors about his administration on social media, calling for an end to the misinformation.
We need a whole of society approach to make sure that we have a nation that is measured, that our democracy does not become chaotic.
It's not the key to temper on other people's rights, to assume official rights.
The President guarantees security for all Kenyans.
He reiterated that there will be no room for murder or abductions during his leadership, urging security agencies to uphold their responsibility to the nation.
Wakenya sijui 30 na ngapi kule Yala, Wakenya sijui ngapi 20 na ngapi kule Tana, sijui wapi, sijui tuko na containers, Wakenya wanauawa wanapelekwa kwa national park. That will not happen under my administration.
Despite the president's strong stance, leaders such as Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya have called on President Ruto to take further action to end abductions across the country.
For a leader to stand here and tell you people are abducting themselves and they're killing themselves, I think it's unfortunate. It's not for these hallowed grounds. Our children are getting lost and being abducted. That's the position. We should not cover the basic truth.
I want to ask you, Governor Natembeya, you were regional commissioner the other day when hundreds of people were kidnapped, abducted and killed in Kerio Valley. Na wakatupwa mili yao hapa River Yala, wewe ukiwa regional commissioner Rift Valley.
As schools prepare to reopen for term 1 on Monday, President Ruto announced the hiring of 76,000 junior secondary school teachers, urging leaders to focus on nation building and stop playing divisive tribal politics.
We have straightened CBC. Number 2, we are closing the gap kwa walimu. For the first time in the history of Kenya, we have hired 76,000 teachers to teach our children.
In a moment of reflection, the late Anne Nanyama Wetangula, who passed away at 94, was remembered for her unwavering discipline and her commitment to education, which left a lasting legacy on the community.
My mother was a strict disciplinarian.
Bibi wangu huyu alikuwa na nguvu kama yangu. Nasema hivyo kwa sababu alizaa mapacha safari ile. Hiyo mimi ni dume.
If you look around this bomber, whatever you see, that is the legacy of our mother.
Wanji Sostin, TV47, Bungoma.
All right, now still in politics, Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga has criticized the government for allegedly using criminals in the central Kenya region to balance political affairs. Now referring to a prayer meeting led by former Mungiki leader Maina Njenga on Tuesday at the Kabarini grounds in Nyeri County, Kahiga called on senior government officials to stop disrupting peace in the region. Furthermore, Kahiga stated that the residents of Nyeri have not yet recovered from the removal of Gachagua from office, and it is unwise for the government to support his political rivals in the area.
Watu wa Nyeri hawakuhudhuria ule mkutano. Tuliona mkutano ambao watu waliletwa kutoka sehemu mbalimbali, na tungetaka tuwakumbushe wale ambao waliongoza kwamba sisi watu wa Nyeri hatuna haja na mikutano ya aina ile. Tungetaka tu mikutano ambao ni ya maombi, ambao ni yana ukweli, sio maombi ambayo yanageuzwa kuwa siasa. Tungetaka pia tuseme kwamba kama kaunti ya Nyeri sisi bado hatujapona majeraha tulizozipata za kisiasa wakati walipomuondoa Rigathi Gachagua bado ni kovu, na Waswahili wasema ukimwona mwenye kovu usidhani amepona. Sisi hatungetaka kuendelea kusumbuliwa, tungetaka tuachwe tuendelee na mambo yetu, na tuseme kwamba Maina Njenga ni kiongozi wa kundi haramu ambalo linajulikana, na kama serikali ya Kenya sasa imeamua kwamba huyo ndiye atakayekuwa kiongozi wao na ndiye watashirikiana, basi tunahofia kwa sababu yule ni mtu ambaye tunamjua na historia mbovu.
Now, 10 lives were tragically lost in a head-on collision between a matatu and a lorry at Soy along the Eldoret-Kitale Road on Friday, January 3rd, 2025. According to the Soy Police Base Commander, the devastating crash occurred at approximately 9:10 a.m. The matatu's driver and 8 passengers died instantly at the scene, while the others died in hospital. Chichi Josephine has more on this heartbreaking incident.
10 people died in a road crash involving a matatu and a lorry at a Soy area along Eldoret-Kitale Road after the two vehicles collided head-on on Friday morning.
Hii ni masikitiko makubwa ambapo tumepotesha wapendwa hapa barabarani kimchezo. Nafikiria hii ndio wakati ambapo tungependa Kenha na Kera watuangalilie hii barabara ni nyembamba sana.
Confirming the incident, Uasin Police Commander Benjamin Mwanthi said that 8 unknown passengers died on the spot, while 1 passenger was pronounced dead on arrival at the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital in Eldoret.
Hii kanda ili lose control na ikaenda upande ya oncoming vehicles, ikakutana na hiyo matatu, ikagonga matatu, na baada ya kuigonga ikausukuma kwa enji ya barabara, alafu ikapinduka ikailalia. Among the passengers, watu 9 walifariki on the spot na mmoja akafariki akitibiwa hapa MTRH.
However, the police have launched a manhunt for the driver of the lorry who is alleged to have fled the scene immediately after the accident.
Ningeimiza all road users, wakati ijapokuwa msimu ya sherehe imekuja kwa imeisha, bado to drop the guard, tuendelee kuhakikisha barabara zetu ni safe.
The injured passengers are recuperating in various hospitals as the deceased bodies are preserved at MTRH mortuary pending identification and post-mortem. Residents have called on the county government of Uasin Gishu to expand the Eldoret-Kitale stretch that is alleged to have been the main cause of accidents, even as they also cautioned drivers to respect traffic rules.
Hii barabara ni nyembamba sana. Madereva ukipatikana hata na nini kidogo utaenda nje. Na ukienda nje kujaribu kurudisha gari utakutana na gari lingine. Kwa hiyo wito wangu ni kwamba serikali ijaribu kupanua hii barabara.
Chichi Josephine, TV47.
Devastating news there indeed. Condolences to the families and may the souls rest in peace. Now moving on, in the quiet of Muranga, terror strikes after dark. A rogue police officer wielding nothing but a machete has transformed peaceful streets into a nightmare. Now the residents of Kanyenyaini in Kangema constituency are living in constant fear as this officer is accused of assaulting villagers with brutal force. 2 victims still recovering from their injuries are among those pleading for justice, demanding action against the officer and a guarantee of their safety. Take a look.
The sleepy village of Kanyenyaine in Muranga County has been shaken by a shocking wave of violence. Local residents are haunted by the fear of being attacked by one of their own, a police officer stationed at the nearby Kanyenyaine police post. Witnesses describe terrifying machete assaults, leaving 2 victims with serious injuries.
Ya kwanza alinichapa juu ya kukosa kumbaia pombe. Ya pili amekuwa akinitusi na mamagu. Pia jana amenitusi na mamagu.
Akakuja akanigonga. Paga ya kwanza, ya pili nikienda kufanya hivi akanikata. Sasa nikashindwa. Huyu mama mwingine alikuwa hapo karibu ndiye alipiga duru. Nikaita jamaa mwingine alikuwa karibu akakuja kunisaidia hapo.
Witnesses and survivors have spoken of the officers' brutal and unprovoked attacks. Despite their cries for help, attempts to file official complaints have been met with silence. The community is left in a state of shock and disbelief.
Ndio nikaanza kupiga kibenge. Nikapiga. Watu wote wakaanza kukuja. Wengine wakakuja na mawe, wengine wakakuja na nini.
Nikataliza kumbaiwa pombe. Anaanza kupiga maukuta huku. Juu ni machungu. So tunasema aende akienda.
But the hope is not lost. Authorities have confirmed that an investigation has been launched. They have vowed that if the officer is found guilty, severe legal consequences will follow. The people of Kanyenyaine are not backing down As they wait for justice, they demand accountability and a swift end to their nightmare.
Kusema ukweli, uwezi kaa mpaka saa 4 ukiona askari wenye wanakurida ndio wanakuja na panga.
Fear and uncertainty continue to loom over Kanyenyaine village even as residents seek justice. TV47 from Murang'a County, I'm Robert Gakure.
Now, following the deadly clan conflict in Mogil area of Elgeyo-Marakwet that left 3 dead, including an NPR officer, 2 arrests have been made. Calm has since returned as authorities intensify efforts to maintain peace, and there's a clash triggered by a land dispute between 2 neighboring clans. It has prompted a wave of condemnation. Peace meetings were held near the scene at Mogil Market, where residents, security officers and leaders united to condemn the violence. They also called on the government to issue land title deeds to prevent future conflicts. Authorities have assured the public that all involved, including the NPR officer, will face legal consequences.
Tunatumai kwamba baada ya kusiga vijana basi tutakuja kurudi African traditional justice system, tufuate jinsi tunavyofanya kila wakati. Otherwise amani kwa sehemu hii yote imerejea, hakuna maneno sahihi, imekuwa na utulivu kabisa.
Niliomba kasui ya kwamba mshike hao watoto, mshike kwanza watu yetu wakae chini, and then you do cleansing, alafu baada ya hiyo tutaita mkutano ingine ambaye tutakutana wote na wale walikosea watu wa kasui wote tutakaa.
To that extent, the government is quite satisfied that the process has started in a good way. So we cannot allow a situation where NPRs who are supposed to actually help in providing security to go rogue and actually misuse their firearms. So those who have been mentioned definitely will be arrested and prosecuted.
Mambo ya land ikawanwe vizuri, kila mtu akuwe na shamba lake na akuwe na title deed yake, so that tuweze kusuluhisha mambo kama haya yametendeka.
Lazima tufanye mediation, wase wanakaa chini kama ni mambo ya mashamba, kwa maana tukibikana tunapata hasara sana.
All right, now Kenya could soon see the release of the genetically modified BT maize variety, pending approval from the National Biosafety Authority. The public participation phase, which allows stakeholders to provide input, ends on January 6th. This move comes after a High Court ruling last year that cleared the way for the rollout of GMO seeds in the country. Sheila Chelangat now reports.
6th January is the deadline for the public participation on the proposed release of BT maize varieties into the Kenyan market. This as the Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization, KALRO, is in the last phase of research on the BT maize variety, which will be subjected to field trials during the long rain season in 2025. BT maize variety is a genetically modified maize that has resistance to significant agricultural pests like the fall armyworm.
The resistance is a gene modification. What is the effect of that on the human body? Remember, you're not growing this maize for the insects. So if you are growing the maize for the insects as a whole thing, you're producing this maize for the human and animal consumption.
With more than 15 countries in the world having approved its cultivation and use, Kenya might soon be added onto the list if the National Biosafety Authority approves its environmental release and open cultivation.
It's not the only factor that affects food production. We have water, we have land, we have so many factors that affect food production. Why are we putting all our attention on the seeds only?
However, contention is rife on the health and safety concerns associated with GMO crops.
You imagine this maize that will kill insects. What will it do to the human body? You know, because the biology of living organisms is the same. they are insects, yes, but we are human beings, and we will consume this food.
Field trials of this BT variety will be conducted in Busia, Kakamega, Machakos, Mombasa and Trans Nzoia at the Kalro fields for a period of 3 months. Once the field trials are done to the satisfaction of both Kalro and the National Biosafety Authority, Kalro will announce certified seed producers where Kenyans will obtain seeds for planting. Sheila Chelangat for TV47.
Now, schools prepare to reopen next week. Efforts are intensifying to finalize the construction of grade 9 junior secondary classrooms within primary schools. In Kirinyaga and Embu counties, many grade 9 classrooms are still under construction, though some are near completion with final touches like painting. Now, despite the ongoing work, teachers have reassured parents that they are ready to ensure a smooth transition for grade 9 students.
Underway with a lot of preparation, and now that we are ushering in grade 9 this January. So among the things that we are looking at so that we can be compliant is the preparedness of classes. We are equipping our classes with lockers as we wait for the students.
We have equipped our school with the staffing necessary, the teachers. The teachers are qualified, and also they are registered with the Teacher Service Commission, and they are ready to help the learners.
My concerns ni mambo ya grade 9 na pia the whole system of education. Ya kwanza tuseme serikali imejaribu na when there is a plus tuseme kuna plus. Wamescore pande ya grade 9. Tumeona contractors wamepewa madarasa wajenge grade 9, lakini na kwingi wamemaliza grade 9 imeisha, lakini kuna shule mingi sana ambao zijamaliza.
All right, now parents with children in schools that have failed to meet safety standards for dormitories have been urged to make alternative arrangements. The government has announced that these schools will not resume normal operations until they meet the required safety standards. A spot check by TV47 found that while most schools have made significant progress, some are still lagging behind. Andreen Kilemi now has the details.
You might just have to look for an alternative school if your child's school fails to meet the required safety standards as per the dictates of the Ministry of Education. Principal Secretary for Basic Education Belio Kipsang has maintained that the 348 schools ordered to close their boarding sections will not be allowed to resume normal operations unless they meet the safety standards prescribed by the Ministry of Education.
And our officers have been in their offices, those who have done what needed to be done, and have requested our officers to go re-inspect them. We have done it. And any school that have met the preparedness levels, then will be allowed to proceed come January. But those who will not be ready, we have already told parents that they seek alternative schools for their children.
A spot check by TV47 now indicates that some of the listed schools are on the rush to make repairs to their boarding sections to meet the required safety standards. In Kisii County, 10 out of 17 private schools that were listed among the 348 are reported to have aligned to the required safety standards.
Zingine zimepatikana kuwa zimefikisha zile matarajiwa yenye inatakikana na elimu.
Some of them is just a matter of re-registration to reflect that they are boarding.
In November last year, the Ministry of Education conducted inspections and ordered the closure of boarding sections in 348 learning institutions that were found to be below safety standards. Some of the criteria considered during the inspection included exit sections within boarding facilities and the availability of fire extinguishers, among other safety measures.
One of the major things that initially we had been told to do was working on the stairs, on the exit, the emergency exit, which we have done broadly. And I think when they came to assess, they saw how good it was.
At first, I was a bit worried regarding where my child was going to go, if in case there were going to be serious measures. But I want to commend the school for their speedy response
They actually went ahead and adjusted the facilities to align.
The nationwide inspection exercise was conducted following a tragic fire incident at Endarasha Primary School in Nyeri, where 21 students died and scores injured. Andrin Kilemi, TV47.
Now, a group of members of parliament affiliated with the Coast Parliamentary Group visited the Kenya Wildlife Service, that's KWS offices in Mombasa today, demanding justice for the death of a man on December 29th. Now, the man was reportedly killed by KWS officers under unclear circumstances. Quinto Wafula reports that while KWS claims the deceased was part of an unlawful group in Tsavo National Park, the MPs vehemently deny this, insisting he was at home when he was killed. Take a look.
Even after the burial of the late Isaac Jarso Delo, members of parliament under the Coast Parliamentary Group today visited the KWS offices in Mombasa, demanding answers about the circumstances surrounding his death.
Kwa Director General wa KWS kwamba vitendo kama hivi haviruhusiki katika Kenya huru kama vile ilivyo.
How comes leo maisha ya mwanadamu haina umuhimu yoyote?
Despite the KWS reporting that the deceased was in the Tsavo Park, the MPs have vehemently refuted this claim, asserting that the late Jarso was at his home with his family when he was shot by a KWS officer.
Lakini mbali na hivyo, tukumbuke kwamba aliyeuawa hakuwa katika mbuga ya wanyama, alikuwa kwake.
Badala kusherehekea sikukuu ya mwaka mpya unaokuja, wale familia wote walikuwa wanaomboleza. Hii sio Kenya ambayo sisi tunaizungumzia, na hii training mnafanyiwa. Kama mnaona kwamba training yenu bado hamjakuwa sawa, mrudishwe.
The legislators strongly condemned the killing and have called on the government to compensate the bereaved family and ensure that the officer responsible for the murder face legal consequences. Furthermore, they urged the KWS to address the challenges faced by residents living near the park, including designating a grazing corridor area for their livestock.
Tuwatekeleze mambo ya corridor na kadhalika. Hawajasikia Director General mpaka nikapeleka statement mbele ya kamati ya bunge. Nilipopeleka akasema ndani ya wiki mbili waziri, Director General la kamati ya bunge ya wildlife watatembelea hiyo sehemu. Mpaka wale hakuna chochote imefanyika.
Siku 7 tena tukiona kwamba hakuna hatua zozote ambazo zimechukuliwa na vitengo vya usalama, DCI, polisi na wengineo, na pia Director General naye hajachukua hatua zozote, basi sisi kama wapwani tutaweza kuchukua hatua ya pili.
In response, KWS has promised to resolve the matter as quickly as possible while urging leaders to promote messages of peace and unity.
We are going to work with the leaders to ensure that peace entails. Hakuna kuvurugana. Let us work together for a common good.
Quinto Wafula, TV47, Mombasa.
Devastating fire has destroyed property worth millions of shillings in the Biashara area of Kikuyu town, reducing more than 12 businesses to ashes. Among the affected businesses were kiosks and bars, gas refilling stations, as well as hotels. Now, despite efforts by the fire response team, the blaze raged on as they arrived too late to contain it. Kikuyu Sub-County Police Commander Ronald Kirui confirmed the incident, noting that only minor injuries were reported. He urged those who looted properties during the chaos to return the stolen goods before the law takes its course.
Habari kwamba kuna moto hapa eneo la makutano katika township yetu ya Kikuyu, na tukaweza kukimbia hapa haraka sana na tumeweza kusima moto na tumeanzisha uchunguzi ya moto huo ambao umeathiri biashara kadhaa. Kuna biashara ambayo imeathirika pale na fali yake tunaendelea kuchunguza. Tunachukua inventory za zile vitu ambao zimechomeka katika pande hii.
Kintoto kuna biashara 12 ambazo zimechomeka kabisa, hakuna kitu ambayo imeweza kuokolewa. Na tunashukuru wakaaji wa Kikuyu kwa sababu wakati moto ulipoanza watu walijitokeza na wakaanza kuuzima. Gari ya kuzima moto ya hapa Kikuyu ilikuja, lakini unfortunately pump yake ilikuwa na shida na ilizima kidogo sana, alafu ikabidi tumetafuta gari ya kuzima moto kutoka Limuru na ingine kutoka Kiambaa. So huu mwaka mpya hapa Kikuyu tuko na huzuni kwa sababu siku mbili mtawalia. Jana jioni tulikuwa na moto pale Undiri ambao ni Kikuyu ward, na leo tumepata moto ingine hapa Kikuyu town. So yes, ni moto ya pili kutokezea, na tunaomba wakaaji wa Kikuyu tuombe na tujihadhari. Tuombe Mungu atusaidie na atulinde, na pia tujihadhari, tuhakikishe ya kwamba tumechukua precautions zenye zinafaa.
Now, residents of Busia County have protested the Kenya Sugar Board's decision to shut down Ole Pito and Busia sugar factories. Protesters argue that these factories are a vital source of income for many in the region, and their closure will severely impact the local economy. The Kenya Sugar Board's order to close all 3 sugar factories in the lower western region for 1 month follows a cane shortage, allowing time for the remaining crops to mature.
Maamua kufanya maandamano ya amani ya Ole Pito factory kwa sababu tumepata habari wanataka kutufungia factory zetu. Kwa nini serikali inaamua kufungua Mumias peke yake ifanye na inafunga factory yetu ya hapa na Busia Sugar?
Inamaanisha kwamba serikali imeanza kupeana Mumias ikuje iposhi miwa ya wakulima. Kwa hivyo sisi kama wakulima tumesema Mumias hatuwezi kukubalia ikuje ibebe miwa yetu hapa mpaka serikali i-revise. La sio hivyo hatutakubali tinga yote ya Mumias ikanyage Busia County.
Watu wa Busia County tunauliza serikali, Mumias wakati walipewa authority ya kukuja kufanya biashara ya miwa, wameinvest, wamekuwa na contract na wakulima wangapi? Mkulima Mumias wamefanya contract na watuambie, watupee contract ile Mumias imefanya na wakulima wa hapa. Mumias inafanya poaching. Biashara yenye Mumias inafanya ni poaching. Na poaching yenye Mumias inafanya ni poaching ya miwa underage.
Mimi ninaomba serikali ya nchi yetu ya Kenya, hivi Busia Sugar na Ole Pito Sugar, hizo kampuni mbili siko katika kaunti ya Busia. Sisi hatutakubali kampuni ya Mumias kukuja kuchukua miwa yetu kwa kaunti yetu ya Busia.
All right, and with that, let's take a short break, but we'll be back. Remember, this is Weekend Edition. I am Shiksha Arora, and you're watching TV47. Don't go too far. Right, welcome back. Of course, remember, if you're watching us, you can find us on social media. That's at TV47 Kenya on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube as well. Tell us where you're watching from this first Friday, this new year, 2025 it is. I've got a message from Georgie Ndirangu who's tuned in. That's a good friend. Thank you so much for watching, and we appreciate your company. Right, let's get back to the bulletin. Now, residents of Kapina in Nambale and Kocholia in Teso North are urging the Busia County government to rebuild a crucial bridge before schools reopen, ensuring safer access for learners. Now, led by James Wanjila, Helen Ikala and Stella Nyongesa, the community criticized the county for failing to repair the bridge, which was destroyed by floods during the long rains. In response, Malaba South Ward MCA Boniface Ekada called for the project to be prioritized as a flagship initiative, though he noted it would require over 15 million shillings, a budget beyond the MCA's reach.
Ndio tunatetea hii barabara ipate kupitika, kwa maana watoto wetu wanapita hapa wakifuga wakienda shule. Sisi wamama tunahangaika tukienda Kocholia. Haswa tukitaka kwenda Kocholia inabidi tutumie barabara mrefu, na hii barabara ika hapa jamani memusie. Mtuone, mtusaidie. Mtusaidie kabisa hii barabara. Sai kuenda ukitaka kwenda Kocholia inakuwa ngumu kupitika. Ndipo tumefika mahali hapa kukuja kutetea hii barabara. Hii hapa jamani, flyover imeanguka. Mtusaidie. Tafuta usaidizi, serikali utusaidie kutengeneza hii njia, sababu tunapata shida tukitaka kwenda sokoni Kocholia, hakuna namna ya kupita.
Tengeneza hii barabara, na kweli tangu hiyo wakati iliisha, hiyo kitu haikufanyika. Sasa hizi ndio hii tumekuja tena, kanzo nini Governor Otoma ako na mheshimiwa Gadi Njaka na Mlanya wangekaa pamoja, wajue bila wanatusaidia kama sisi wananchi wa hii barabara, kwa sababu waliweka flyover na flyover ndio imeenda na maji, barabara imechimbika.
Kwa mfano kama mimi nasoma huku Teso, nitagharamia zaidi mafuta kupita huko barabara zingine huku ili kufika shule, lakini kuna barabara karibu huku hivi. Alafu changamoto za usafiri huku usiku watu hawezi pita huku, watu wengi wanajificha kwa hii msitu. Takani barabara ipanuliwe na kufunguliwa na kujenga hii daraja.
Ni ukweli ya kwamba hilo daraja kwa muda mrefu imekuwa na shida na imebomoka kabisa, na ni daraja ambayo inataka nijenge daraja kubwa. Sisi kama MCS wa Malaba South na mwenzangu wa Buhaya kuna Nambale, ule wa Nambale Buhaya North, kwa hakika yale pesa ambayo tunatengewa kwa mambo ya miradi za ward haiwezi, hata tukiunganisha kwa njia gani hatuwezi kumaliza kujenga hiyo bridge, kwa sababu hiyo ni flagship project. Hiyo daraja inahitaji zaidi ya milioni 10.
All right, now moving on. A political truce brokered by former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo in mid-2023 paved the way for Raila Odinga's candidacy for the African Union Commission, AUC. Now, the deal, struck away from State House Mombasa, saw President William Ruto and Raila come to an agreement, with Obasanjo vouching for Raila's AUC bid. This truce also marked the end of the Azimio anti-government protest that had rocked the country earlier that year. Since then, Raila, with government backing, has tirelessly lobbied across the African continent, even joining President Ruto on a trip to China to rally support from African heads of state. This report is by Apollo Kamau.
How are you, sir? Welcome to Kenya.
A closely guarded Mombasa meeting between President William Ruto, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, and former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo in July 2023, at the height of the 2022 post-election crisis, gave birth to Odinga's African Union Commission chairmanship bid. In the secret meeting that also midwifed national dialogue on the post-election crisis, requiring Kenya Kwanza and Azimio to nominate 5 members each to the talks team. What followed was a flurry of meetings, starting off with a crucial meeting at Odinga's current home, after his longtime friend Obasanjo paid him a visit, during which Odinga declared his interest in the AUC top seat.
Today I want to make it public that I'm ready, yes, to go for the chairmanship of the African Union.
Another crucial meeting with Uganda President Yoweri Museveni at his Kisozi farm in Uganda in late February 2024, where President Ruto and Odinga were captured together with Museveni, amplified the government's commitment to back Odinga's bid for the AUC chairmanship amid political talk at home of an Odinga-Ruto handshake and whether Odinga will quit local politics to concentrate on the AUC campaigns.
I'm not going to be very active in Kenyan politics henceforth, as I continue now to focus my attention on the continental campaign.
With the birth of the new bromance, President Ruto and Odinga hit the ground running, popularizing his AUC contest, saying he fits the bill, given his experience as a former envoy of the African Union on infrastructure, which he quit under controversial circumstances after Ruto took over power.
Si tulikubaliana kwamba tunaenda kumuombea ili awe kiongozi wa Afrika. Nikiongea na nyinyi saa hizi, juzi alikuwa kule Ivory Coast, jana amekuwa kule Senegal, leo ako kule Nigeria akitafuta kura ya kuwa kiongozi wa bara la Afrika. Nyinyi watu wa Kenya mtamuombea? Mtamuombea? Wale wanasema tuombea kwamba nione kwa mkono.
President Ruto, for the first time, courtesy of his handshake with Odinga, set foot in Kisumu's Kondele area in August 2024 after the 2022 election campaigns, flanked by his then deputy Rigathi Gachagua on a 4-day tour that saw Ruto capitalize on his handshake with Odinga and Ruto allies hinting at plans of forming a mega alliance involving ODM and UDA.
Tutashirikiana na serikali kwa mambo mazuri yote. Mambo ya kasoro tutakosoa. Lakini hiyo haimaanishi ya kwamba kuna watu ambao wametengenezea upinzani hapa duniani. Sisi sasa vile mimi naona mambo ilienda Migori jana, nitashikilia tu hii mambo upinzani kwa hii mwaka tatu inakuja. Baada ya mwaka tatu hii mnaweza tafuta mtu ya kuachia.
Wacha tuangalie mbele, tusiendelee na hii mambo ya euphoria ya kusema Ruto must go, Ruto must go, Ruto must go, Ruto akienda basi sisi nini baadaye. Si mimi nilikuwa deputy party leader wa ODM. Si mimi ndio nilichangia baba akawa prime minister. Sasa mimi nauliza nyinyi, baba akikuja pia kunisaidia ili tuweze kuunganisha Kenya, kuna makosa?
Odinga's quest for the AUC seat was not just a coincidence, but a calculated political move by Ruto to clear a major stumbling block for his re-election in 2027, which political pundits term as a masterstroke. Political observers hold that Odinga will offer the much-needed political support Ruto needs in 2027 after Ruto lost the Mount Kenya region to his former deputy Rigathi Gachagua.
Sasa ile nchi inachomeka, Uhuru ndiye alinipiga mimi simu. Uhuru akaniambia mimi tafuta bwana Ruto ongea na yeye. Kenya ikichomeka hatakuwa na nchi nyingine. Mpaka hii tuzime hii moto, watu waketi chini waendelee waliwane. William ndiye akanitafuta. Na mimi nikaongea na yeye wazi kabisa. Mimi unajua mambo yangu, mimi sificheki mambo. Nasema direct. Magazeti hapa wanaandika sijui nini Raila na Ruto handshake, hakuna handshake. Hakuna handshake. Kale tulisema mimi niliongea na Ruto nikamwambia shida iko hapa.
Raila Odinga for the African Union, for Africa, for our future.
In August 2024, President Ruto demonstrated how crucial Odinga's candidacy is by officially endorsing his candidacy at State House, where he invited his fellow East African heads of state, who also endorsed Odinga.
And I am here to support the candidature of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga on behalf of Uganda
because he is a convinced Pan-Africanist.
In September 2024, Odinga accompanied Ruto to China in yet another pivotal moment for Odinga's campaign, where the president introduced him to African heads of state on the sidelines of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation Summit.
The dynamics of the African continent are the ones that are going to determine, because the presidents and prime ministers are the ones to vote. And they will be voting on three things. One, what do they think of Kenya? Will their interest be jeopardized by having Kenyan at the top? What do they think of Ruto as a person? Then what do they think of Raila and his record? So if all those three factors favor Raila, then they will vote for Raila. If they favor the other candidate, then he will lose. So it's a 50-50, and he should expect that he might lose. But if he loses, he's here.
Backed by state machinery and East Africa heads of state, a campaign secretariat led by Foreign Affairs PS Dr. Korir Sing'oei and former Kenyan ambassador to the US Elkanah Odembo, Odinga in November 2024 stepped up his campaign by launching his continental bid in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, where he sold his Pan-African agenda in the race to succeed outgoing AUC chairperson Musa Faki in February 2025. Since then, Odinga has been crisscrossing the continent, meeting several heads of state in the continent's regional blocs with the hope of outdoing his main challenger, Djibouti's Foreign Affairs Minister, Mahamoud Yusuf. Apart from East and Central Africa, Odinga has toured Francophone countries and the Arab North, touring 6 African countries in West Africa, starting off with Benin, Ghana, Togo, Gambia, Senegal, and Nigeria. In the crucial ECOWAS bloc, meeting presidents of Nigeria, Ghana, and Senegal.
I think this was the most strategic thing to be done. The only thing that was void is needed to be done on day one, because the president cannot go anywhere and everywhere with Odinga. But Raila need to touch base with every head of state.
Don't go for the group. Isolate and attack. And solidify, like Southern Africa, SADC countries. Ensure none escapes from the camp.
Odinga was later to meet his 2 competitors, Mahamoud Yusuf of Djibouti and Richard James of Madagascar, in a crucial debate titled Mujadala Africa for the African continent, to sell his bid.
But we're going to insist that Africa must get 2 permanent seats in the UN Security Council. This is only fair, because we are a continent of 55 sovereign nations. We cannot be excluded when Europe has got 3 permanent representations on the Security Council. Permanent representation with the veto powers is a must for Africa.
This is after Mauritius candidate Anil Guyan dropped in favor of Odinga after the country's new Prime Minister Navin Ramgoolam spoke to Ruto on the phone, endorsing Odinga's candidature. Earlier in August, Odinga met Fawzia Yusuf of Somalia, who had expressed interest only for Fawzia to drop from the race.
How are you? Good. Karibu. Asante.
After the debate in December, Odinga invaded his competitor's bedroom, Mahamoud Yusuf, after meeting Central Africa President Faustin Touadera, a key leader in the Francophone region, in the company of Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen, who had accompanied Odinga.
So do you support the diplomat, or do you support the experienced leader, which has a track record?
I think the Kenya candidate offers more of the political outlook. The other candidate will appear to be more the technician. And whether the job needs a technician or a political operator, I think it needs both.
Odinga is campaigning on a platform of 8 pillars: economic transformation, intra-Africa trade, financial independence, gender equity and equality, climate action, peace and security, agriculture, and continental integration.
And Tanzania says, Baba anatosha, achaguliwe.
He is rooting for Africa's financial independence while focusing on a more united, transformed continent, and pledged during the debate to root for Africa to get 2 seats at the United Nations Security Council.
How is Addis? Thank you, my friend. Welcome.
On Christmas Eve, December 2024, President Ruto threw another spanner in the works after he met the outgoing chairperson of the African Union Commission, Musa Faki, in his capacity as the AU champion for institutional reforms at his Kilgoris home in Narok. Apart from the reforms, the two are said to have discussed the forthcoming transition when Faki will hand over to either Odinga or Yusuf of Djibouti, the two frontrunners in the AUC race. Apul Kamau, TV47.
Sports news brought to you by Maybet. Join Maybet leo upate free bet papo hapo. Fanya hivi, chagua home team to win, yani number 1 au draw X au away team 2 kwa game ya siku ya free bet. Weka namba yako ya simu, weka password ya account yako. Chagua submit free bet. Utapata free bet kwa account yako ya Maybet. Usisahau kuverify account yako. Kama hutakuwa verified, utapoteza free bet yako after 2 days. Betting is strictly for 18 years and over. Play responsibly. Terms and conditions apply. BCLB number 000578.
Maybet na minia na najishindia. Pesa inavutia.
Now in sports, when Kenya's football history is written, the name of Kelvin Wangaya will surely feature. His remarkable rise from the streets of Dagoretti to representing Kenya in the 2025 AFCON Under-20 tournament is nothing short of inspiring. Sports reporter Duncan Mutua caught up with Wangaya, who shared his journey with us from local pitches to professional football in Albania. Here's his story.
Cause imekuwa ni safari poa, haijakuwa rahisi. Imekuwa pia na ups na downs, lakini nashukuru God cause inanifanya nikuwe strong na pia niweze kufika mahali niko sahi.
Kelvin Wangaya. Free kick tamu mno.
Kelvin Wangaya Injeu's rise through the ranks of Kenyan football is nothing short of inspiring. A lucky young talent who honed his skills in the street of Dagoretti, Kabiria and Waithaka slums in Nairobi County.
Mimi nimegrow huko Kabiria, nimechezea Kabiria kuna timu inaitwa Magic 90 ya coach Kikuyu na coach Brayo. Huko nimegrowia huko na pia nilikuwa na stay hapa Dagoretti, Waithaka. Kuna home nilikuwa nakaa hapo. So nimegrowia tu Dagoretti na hapo Kabiria.
Wangaya's journey from local pitches to professional football in Albania is a story of dedication, passion and resilience, more so coming from an area which 2 out of 10 youth make it to achieve their dream profession.
Ni hard because unapata kuna wale marafiki zako walianza nao ball but at some point wakaona like tuseme I trust the process because wanaona ni ngumu na pia wanataka vitu za haraka zifanyike, like hawana patience. Hawana ball vile inahitaji patience because huwezi amka tu leo kesho asubuhi vitu zifanyike. Lazima tu take step by step na uanzie mahali. So I think imekuwa hard.
His education journey was nothing short like a nomadic communities.
Nimesomea Laser Hill ya hiyo tu scholarship but nilisoma huko for class moja tu. Ilikuwa class 7. So nimesoma Laser Hill for 1 year. After hapo tukaingia Center of Excellence, ilikuwa Harambee sasa national team. Pia ilikuwa poa, ilikuwa homeschooling but haikuwork I think cause vitu hazikwenda poa na hiyo time ya COVID. So pia nimesomea Riverside iko huko Waithaka Dagoretti. High school nimesomea Rudhimitu iko huko pia Dagoretti. Lazima nilitoka yenyewe si rahisi, watu nilikuwa nao. Sasa hata ukiangalia wachezi ball. Kwanza ule close friend wangu alikuwa keeper. Tulikuwa na Magic 90, alikuwa anaitwa Jeremy. So haikuwa rahisi. Nasema tu ni God. Sasa hachezi ball. aliacha ball, aliingilia pia vitu mingi.
Born and raised in Dagoretti, one of Nairobi's most well-known slummy neighborhoods, a local footballer, lover of ugali, chicken and pilau, Kelvin's love for football began at a very young age. The dusty street of Kabiria became his first playground, where he would kick up makeshift balls with friends, and later, at the young age, he would join his father during his football trainings, dreaming of one day playing at the highest level with motivation from his dad.
Mzee alimotivate cause pia nilianza kucheza na watu wakubwa kuniliko nikiwa mdogo sana. Hiyo ni kitu kama 7 ama 8 years. Yeah, so mzee ndo alimotivate cause nilikuwa narauka naye mapema. Nenda zoezi na yeye, unapata pia timu ya mzee ni watu wakubwa, si watu management wako. So unacheza tu nao, unaanza kuadapt pole pole. So hapo ndo nikaanza kujua yenyewe ndio talent yangu na nilijua mapema. Ndo nikaanza kuwa connect na mzee pia alikuwa ananisupport cause nilikuwa na train na yeye most of the time.
Unlike his dad, who pushed him to play football, his mother never wanted him to associate himself with any sport.
Kwanza mzae, unajua watu wengi kimuuliza mzae ama madhe atasema madhe, but mimi siku zote nitachagua tu mzae cause mzae ndo amenisaidia kwa hii journey. Mzae pia alikuwa anacheza ball, so yeah, mzae amenisaidia sana. Madhe alikuwa anataka nicheze ball. So unaona ni funny sana cause but at least yeye anaelewa nini inaendelea. Anajua kitu inaweza fanya na anajua kitu inaweza fanya grao.
At the tender age of 8, Wangaya enrolled in his first formal youth program at the Ngong Road-based Ligindogo Football Academy, which was the beginning of what would become near to a valid dream of a footballer. Here, he was a star in the making, crediting his coaches.
I think nilianza nikiwa 4 to 5. Nikiwa 8 ndo nikakuja Ligindogo. Hapa ndo nimechezea since nilikuwa mdogo. Yeah, from your age 2 kutoka hapo chini, under 9. Kipanda juu nimecheza under 13, under 15 na 17, so pia nikaanza kucheza first team nikiwa na 16.
Ni kijana ambaye nimekuwa naye akiwa kijana mdogo, sababu alijoin ligi ndogo akiwa na miaka 9. And so far ni kijana ambaye kwanza ako na nidhamu na hiyo ndio imekuwa ikimsaidia. Ni kijana ambaye anataka, ukiona ako na hiyo urge ya kutaka kuendelea. Hata yeye wakati ambapo hawana mazoezi kama team, unapata yeye mwenyewe anajipangia mazoezi yake. Yeye mwenyewe anakuja na kwambia hata after match ni wapi napaswa kuimprove, nini napaswa kuwork on.
His international journey came knocking. A trip to Italy with his teammate to represent his academy at the under 13 level. They faced Juventus, Napoli and Lazio. Here, he caught the eyes of international scouts and coaches.
We have another trip tena kwenda Italy. But it was the same tournament. Sasa nimekwambia ni another level, so nilikuwa ready. Na pia kitu kilikuwa inanimotivate ni nilikuwa na watch, kuna mchezaji anaitwa Paul Pogba alikuwa Man U hiyo time, so nilikuwa na watch sana ma highlight hata ma game live. Mimi ni fan wa Man U by the way. Yeah. So nilikuwa na watch sana. Yeye alikuwa ananimotivate cause venye anacheza nilikuwa napenda venye anacheza. So tukaenda hiyo tournament, tukapatana na Lazio. Tukacheza nao hiyo siku pia Barcelona. Hii Lazio moja tu. Under 15 now. Yeah, under 15. Tukacheza nao the same day Barcelona ilikuwa inacheza na Real. Ilikuwa El Clasico. Nakumbuka juu ya hiyo cause tulishinda 3-2 na Barcelona pia ilishinda 3-2. Yenye Messi alifunga last minute. So the same tournament tu nikaenda nikaperform poa. Nikakuwa player of the tournament, nikapewa jezi ya Pogba yenye imeprintiwa ya MVP. Cause kuna bado tukiwa tu huko Italy. Tulicheza na Juventus pia. Kuna friendly tulicheza nao. Wakasema walikuwa interested na mimi, but hiyo time pia nilikuwa mdogo sana. So wakasema mwili, ukiona pia tulikuwa tunacheza nao walikuwa wakubwa na ni under 15. So wakasema mwili pia kidogo. Mimi bado ni mdogo. So no.
From Italy, he was to travel with the academy to Sweden, but then he was not the coach's favorite. He was omitted from the squad. Blessings in disguise. Omitted by his family club, brought a chance to represent his national team at the under 13 level.
Nikiwa 13, nimecheza under 13 national team. Yeah. Hiyo time vitu zilifanyika funny pia because nilikuwa nafaa kutravel na ligi ndogo, tulikuwa tunaenda Sweden. So mimi nikaambiwa visa yangu hajatoka, nitangoja, but pia mimi nikaona tu hii ni kama kuna games hapo. Nikaa siendi but hawataki kuniambia. So ikafika mahali nikajua yenyewe siendi. Nikabaki wakatravel wakaenda. Mimi nikabaki ndo pia nashukuru God tu. Mimi tuseme tu ni God. Because at the same time wakiwa huko Sweden, coach Badi alinipigia akaniambia kesho mapema uende Kasarani kuna trials za national team. So kufika tukacheza poa, majina zikaitwa, nikachaguliwa, nilikuwa among hao watu wamechaguliwa. So hapo ndo nikaanza kuchezea national team kutoka under 13, 15, 17. Tena last month hapa tulikuwa under 20. Yes.
Kwa ni dafi na kwa Kenya. What a free kick. Wow. Nice one. Ameonyesha umahiri mkubwa sana Kevin na Wangaya. Anaitanguliza Rising Stars.
His talent did not go unnoticed for long. At the age of 15 years old, he was already catching the eyes of local coaches. His dribbling skills, vision and ability to control the ball were beyond his years.
Kiwa Djibouti, there's a goal ambao reaction yao akiwa national team under 15, kuna reaction walichukua na akapiga bao, alichenga goalkeeper na bado akafunga. So for him, that free kick is something amekuwa akiwork on. So for players also, I believe it's consistency. Whatever after training, get a ball, work on something that you want to improve.
It wasn't long before he was recruited to join Ligindogo's senior team and began climbing the ranks of Kenyan football. He attracted the eyes of Premier League side Kariobangi Sharks, and coach William Muluya made him a key signing despite having experienced players in his squad. The likes of Alfonso Mija, who currently plays for money-based club Dofa, and Patilo Moto, who later moved on to Kenya Police Football Club.
Nilikuwa actually in Form 3. Coach Muluya alikuja hapa kuona games, kulikuwa na tournament inaendelea hapo. Nilicheza poa sana, so akaniona and he was like tunaweza tumia kijana kwa Premier League hata kani mdogo anaweza perform. Yeah, so akaniambia nianze kutrain nao. Hiyo time kulikuwa na kina au masini kina Patila walikuwa wanacheza bado Sharks, kina Alfonso Mija bado walikuwa hapo, Jeffrey Nyango. So ni different, ni level sa next. Sasa hii ni Premier League ya Kenya. So mentally lazima tukue strong because you ni step next umemake.
Personally, I believe hatutaharakisha kwa sababu kila kitu iko na time yake, because right now he's still 18 years. Na sisi tumekuwa naye since akiwa kijana mchanga. So nimekuwa nikimu-encourage, nikimwambia one step at a time. And also playing for the national team is also a big plus. And when you get that opportunity, listen to the coach, play according to the coach's plan, and push yourself.
As his stock rose in the Kenya Premier League football, European scouts began to take notice. Kelvin's breakthrough performance at the national team youth level, Ligindogo Academy, and at the Kariobangi Sharks caught the eyes of clubs beyond Africa. And soon, a life-changing opportunity came knocking in the form of Apolomania FC, a rising club in Albania's First Division League. In January 2024, Wangaya made the bold move to Europe, signing with Apolomania FC. The transition from Kenyan football to the European scene was challenging, but this boy was ready.
Nilitoka Sharks, nilimaliza Form 4. Nilipata deal ingine, nikaenda nje kidogo. So, nikacheza huko pia. Vitu si ati ni ngumu, ni different though, because football ya huko pia hiyo ni high level sasa. Nilikuwa nacheza NSL ya huko and iko Albania. The team iko Albania, ilikuwa different pia sana because wale pia ni watu wako na experience. So lazima try to fit in the team, lazima pia work hard. So
he is now planning to make another move. Loyalty of sticking to one club for footballers has always been questioned. A move to Spanish football club, maybe, or to his dream clubs, Barcelona, Manchester United and Ajax.
Kevin ni fan wa Manchester, but my dream nataka kumuona Etihad cheza Man City. Because the kind of football anacheza, naona players like kina Rodri, is a kind of player anaweza fit hapo.
Mtu anzia pahali ndo afike mahali, si ndio? Si ati siwezi make, but naweza chezea Man U. Hiyo ndio dream club. Barcelona, kuna Ajax pia. Nikigrow nilikuwa napenda Ajax pia because Ajax wako na facilities poa sana. I think pia hiyo kudevelop wachezaji, wana develop poa, but hizo timu tatu naweza penda kuzichezea.
What he has known since he was a kid is football, though he values education, but not much when you keenly listen to him.
Mimi sasa story ya shule nilimaliza because nilikuwa nimefocus pia na shule. Nikicheza ball pia nilikuwa na focus na shule, but nilikuwa nimejiambia acha nimalize shule kwanza Form 4, then now ni focus kwa ball kitu nataka. If it's not football, it's football, he insists.
or slightly a businessman.
Nitasema masomo kwanza, sababu hiyo ni something nimekuwa nikimpush, sababu lazima aende shule. Unajua maisha ya saizi unapocheza mpira bila that knowledge, sababu huwezi ukasurvive. Na unajua football kuna mali inafika utaretire. So me number one thing nilimwambia lazima shule ni muhimu, so we need to find that balance. Shule na wakati wa kucheza mpira, kwa sababu yes, he's talented. Na ukiangalia number of players wenye amecheza nao, yes, they are no longer playing, but we will not actually say wako nje kabisa, kwa sababu kuna wale hii jani wakianza pamoja sio kila mtu atafika the kind of level yenye amefika. So number one, lazima hiyo discipline ya shule na ajue kubalance. Wakati wa masomo ni wakati wa masomo, wakati wa mpira ni wakati wa mpira.
Dafina kwa Kenya, what a free kick, wow.
Duncan Mtua, TV47 Sports.
Rising Stars.
Sports news brought to you by Maybets. Join Maybets leo upate free bet papo hapo. Fanya hivi, chagua home team to win, yani number 1 au draw X au away team 2 kwa game ya siku ya free bet. Weka namba yako ya simu, weka password ya account yako, chagua submit free bet. Utapata free bet kwa account yako ya Maybet. Usisahau kuverify account yako. Kama hutakuwa verified, utapoteza free bet yako after 2 days. Betting is strictly for 18 years and over. Play responsibly. Terms and conditions apply. BCLB number 0000578.
Maybet na minia na najishindia. Pesa inavutia, pesa inavutia.
Kelvin Ungaya, quite an inspiration for the youth right here in Kenya. And just in case you didn't know what's happening up next, well, we have Tribe 47 show for the youth as well as their parents. You can enjoy it. And today we're going to be having the best of 2024. It's been 4 months of Tribe 47, so make sure you tune in because that's coming right up only on TV47. That's it from the news desk. We hope you enjoyed the features and of course the stories as well. I am Shiksha Arora. I'll be with you tomorrow at 9 p.m. Make sure you make a date with us only on TV47. Until then, have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Remember, it's the first weekend of 2025. Stay blessed, stay safe, and of course, let's be ready for the new year and let's be ready for the 6th because that's when work officially begins and so do the schools. Rhoda Nyamai has been a very able sign language interpreter. Good night from me.